They still didn't even find the mystery monster yet. The Oracle said it would show them the trail, but it never did. Luckily, Grover remembered better than Percy about when he mentioned they needed to find Nereus. "I could find him," said Zoe. "He's not too hard to find, if you can recognize his scent. But if you're going to catch him, you must blend in." 5 minutes later, after diving in a donation box, Zoe dressed Percy into some rad clothes to make him look like a homeless person. "Oh yeah, you look inconspicuous all right," Grover said, holding back a laugh. After a while of searching the docks, Zoe stopped in her tracks and pointed to a soup kitchen where a bunch of homeless guys lined up. "He would be one of them," Zoe said. "He never travels far from the water." "You'll know him when you smell him. Once you have found him, you must grab hold of him and force him however you can to tell him about the monster. He'll use all his might to break free, so you must hold on tight." As Percy passed the first few guys, they did smell bad, but just regular old bad and nothing unusual. Then, Percy noticed further down the pier was a really messy-looking guy passed out on a bench. He wore an old bathrobe and had a beard so white he could have passed as Santa Claus, if Santa Claus was a hobo. When Percy got closer to him, his nose almost fell off. The guy smelled like burned seaweed and dead fish put together. This was the guy. Percy knew this was going to look strange, but he tackled the old man. Then the old man tackled him. Still squeezing onto each other, they rolled down the docks until they slammed into a post. Nereus got up, but Percy tackled him again from behind.
"I don't have any money, kid. Get off me," he complained.
"I don't want your money, fish man," Percy said. "I'm a demigod looking for info."
"Oh no, not this again,"
Nereus said. He shook his way over to the side and into the water with Percy still squeezing him. Nereus transformed into a shark and kept swimming down, and Percy still held on. If Percy wasn't a son of Poseidon, he probably would have drowned. That's how long they stayed underwater. They jumped back up to the surface where Percy's friends were waiting, and Nereus changed back into his hobo form.
"Why won't you drown?"
Nereus complained. "You can't drown me," said Percy. "I'm a son of Poseidon, mister."
"Oh, wow. Haven't seen your type in a while,"
Nereus said.
"Well, I'm guessing it's the usual, right? You let me go only until I've answered your question, right?"
"Actually, we got a lot more than just one," Percy said.
"One capture, one question. That's my rule, kid."
Well, that was just great. There was no way Percy could ask where's Artemis or Annabeth or the monster in just one question, but he knew which was the right one to ask. "How do we find the mystery monster that Artemis was hunting?" he asked.
"Oh, that's too easy," Nereus said. "It's right there in the water."
Mew. Percy let go of Nereus, and he saw Bessie right there in the water again. "Not now, Bessie," Percy said.
Mew.
"Percy," Grover said, That's the Ophiotaurus, the serpent bull." "Oh, and by the way, it's a boy, and he's asking you to stop calling him Bessie." "Oh, I'm such a fool," Zoe said. "I should have remembered about him. My father told me all about it. But anyway, this is the beast we were looking for." "How could he be dangerous?" Percy asked. "He's completely harmless." "The Fates had a prophecy eons ago," Zoe said. "After this creature was born, whoever slayed it and burned its remains would have the power to destroy the gods." "How can that give anyone the power to destroy the gods?" Thalia asked. "No one knows," Zoe answered. "It's never been a complete success. The first time, it was slayed by an ally of the Titans, but then Zeus sent an eagle to take away the beast's remains before they had the chance. Now, after 3,000 years, the Ophiotaurus is reborn." "Luke's gotta destroy the gods by killing Bessie," Percy realized. "We gotta find a way to keep him safe." Well, this is perfect, a familiar voice said with a French accent. It was Dr. Thorne, with some mortal guards at his side. Now all the pieces have now come together. With the beast just waiting to be sacrificed, and the daughter of Zeus's 16th birthday just right around the corner, Olympus shall fall. Unfortunately, he made perfect sense. Thalia's 16th birthday was just 2 days away, and right there Percy realized she was the hero in the prophecy after all. She must have realized it too, because she stood there completely stunned. Her expression was very similar to the way she'd woken up on Half-Blood Hill when Percy brought her back to life. It is your destiny, girl, Thorne said. Now take your spear and strike at the monster, and soon you shall overthrow your father and all the rest. Thalia, you know you don't want to do this, Percy told her. Your dad helped us. He made the metal guards come to life and save us. But she stayed frozen with no reply. Then Percy looked at Grover, and just from making eye contact, Grover knew what he wanted. He played his pipes and made branches grow from underneath the pier and tie up the guards. Zoe shot a fart arrow at them. Thorne shot some needles at Percy, but they bounced off his lion's coat. Grover told Bessie to dive deep down and stay down. Then the kids ran across the pier while pulling Thalia along, still in a daze. They turned the corner of the nearest store and they lost them, probably just for now. We gotta get word back to camp before it's too late, Grover said. Just looking around, it looked like they had what they needed right there in front of them. They stood in a small garden center with a fountain and some crystal wind chimes. Percy took out his sword and poked a hole through the side of the fountain. And just as expected, sprinkling water sprayed out. Grover pulled out a drachma, prayed to the rainbow goddess, threw the coin, and asked for Camp Half-Blood. And in the projection was the last person Percy wanted to see. Mr. D, unfortunately. Mr. D, Percy called. Where's Chiron? We need help. Doesn't anyone ever say hello anymore? He humored. Hello, now where's Chiron? We're running out of time. Around the corner, footsteps were rumbling, and they knew Thorne and his troops were coming back. I'm afraid he's not here right now, Mr. D said. Please leave a message after the beep. Beep. Percy quickly explained to him about Bessie. I think I'm in the mood for pizza tonight, said Mr. D. You don't even care at all, do you? Percy growled. You wouldn't even care if everyone dies. Aha! We've got you now! Thorne yelled. He and his guards stood right there in their only exit. Thorne transformed into his true manticore form.
Spare the daughter of Zeus! Kill the others!
He told the guards. Then, as if right on cue, long grapevines popped out of the ground and wrapped around the manticore. More and more vines kept wrapping around him until there wasn't a single spot of his body left to be seen. The monster was now encased in a big grapevine cocoon. The vines seemed to pull tighter, and the sand started pouring out, and everyone had the feeling somewhere in there the manticore was no more. The guards ran away in fear. You're welcome, by the way, said Mr. D. And you know, you could have said please. Mr. D, you saved us, Grover exclaimed. Don't make me regret it, Mr. Underwear. Underwood, Grover corrected. Whatever. And now you better get moving, Percy Jackson. I've bought you a few hours at most. Mr. D, you just said my name right, Percy exclaimed. I did no such thing, Mr. Potter. But where do we go? I believe the Huntress would know that, said Mr. D. You must enter at sunset today, or all is lost. Goodbye. And his image disappeared. How did he know you would know where to look? Percy asked Zoe. She pointed across the bay and toward Mount Tamalpais in the distance. We must travel to my home, she said, to the garden of my sisters. And why is it sunset we have to be there? Percy asked. That is the rule of the garden, Zoe explained. You can only enter when day changes to night. Well, if we're going to have any chance at getting there fast enough, we're going to need a car, Thalia said. But we can't leave Bessie alone, Percy said. I know, I'll stay with him, Grover said. He got all this way to the west coast from the east coast, right? I'll ride him to Camp Half-Blood, and Chiron can help me get him to Olympus. But Grover, Percy said, no offense, but you're not exactly good in water, remember? You could just pray to your dad for me to have a safe passage, Grover said. I'm the only one who could talk to him anyway. Come on, let's go. They walked back to the docks. Grover called for Bessie, and he hopped onto his back. Percy still wasn't sure how Bessie was able to travel from the east coast to the west coast, but then he remembered monsters don't get around the same way humans did. He stared at the horizon and silently prayed to his dad for Grover to have a safe passage. Percy, a prey this big would need a sacrifice, Thalia told him. How about the lion's coat? He suggested. But Percy, that coat could really get you far. It's real valuable. It's no wonder Hercules used it, Grover said. Percy glanced at Zoe, and that's when he knew which hero Zoe tried to help before. It was Hercules. Then he looked back at Grover. I'm not Hercules, he said. I'll survive this quest, but not because of this coat. He threw the coat in the water, and it dissolved into sunlight. Well then, no time to lose, Grover said. You be careful now, and good luck. Thanks. You too, G-Man, Percy replied. Okay, Bessie, back to Camp Half-Blood, Grover told him. And they swam away and out of sight. Percy could just hope his dad would answer his prayer. Right then, Zoe said. Now, where are we to find a car? Wait, I know someone nearby who could help us, Thalia said. Dr. Frederick Chase, Annabeth's dad. Thalia did in fact have Dr. Chase's address, and they still had plenty of time by the time they got there. Percy wasn't expecting him to be dressed like an aviator. Oh, hello, he said in a friendly voice. Are you the ones delivering my models? No, Percy said. We're friends of Annabeth. Annabeth? Is she all right? Where is she? No one answered, but their expressions seemed to be enough. Oh, I see, he said. Well, would you like to come in? Percy remembered Annabeth telling him that they just moved in, but it sure didn't look like it. They could hear the sound of small boys arguing somewhere in the back. We could just go out to my studies where it's quieter, said Dr. Chase. Inside his studies room, on top of a big table, were some pictures of scenes from the Great War. I'm writing a paper on the use of the Sopwith Camel, as you could see, Dr. Chase said. Anyway, sir, Thalia said, we've come here because, well, your daughter's been kidnapped. They explained everything, and that they needed a ride to Mount Tamalpais before sunset. All right then, I'll drive you, he said. Actually, we were wondering if we could just maybe borrow the car, Thalia said. Where we're going, it's too dangerous for mortals. Annabeth is my daughter, said Dr. Chase. Danger or not, I can't just... Hello, Frederick, a woman's voice said. Can I offer your guests some snacks? Mrs. Chase came in with a plate of fresh-baked cookies. Mr. Chase quickly told his wife what he needed to do. Percy would have thought she'd feel disturbed just from hearing about Annabeth, but instead she just said, You better get going then. I'll get my keys, said Dr. Chase. Mrs. Chase stopped Percy for a second. When you see Annabeth, could you tell her something for me, please? Tell her that she'll always have a home here. Remind her of that, won't you? I will, Percy promised.